All right. Good afternoon, Helen.
Hi, Felix. Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm a little cold, which is why I'm wearing my Christmas jumper and my fully branded
Oh, wow.
headwear.
I love the headwear. It looks so good.
Yes. We
Oh,
all
and in a
have a nice
Christmas
big hat.
mood. That's also good.
Christmas mood. Just had a mince pie. I'm raring to go.
A mince pie.
Yeah. Do you have
Oh,
mince
oh.
pies?
Nah, not
No.
in Berlin. Sorry.
No.
It's good.
Well, it's good. It's good. Not everyone loves them, but I love a mince pie. So yeah, there we go.
I'll try them once I'm in England. Should
You
be
will.
next year.
I can
So
send you some, Felix. How about that?
I'll text you after this call then.
Okay.
Perfect. So just to get in and so people understand where you're coming from, could you just tell us, Helen, where and how and with what vision you created 923 recruitment? Just so we get a little sense.
Yeah, sure thing. So, my background is as a broadcast journalist. So, I worked for companies like the BBC. And then in 2008, 2009, there was a big economic crash and
Oh,
lots of redundancies in the UK, including me. But I was pregnant at the time, and so it's very hard for me to then go and find another job. So I took a few years out. We had three children, and then I thought, right, I'm going to get back to work. And I really struggled to find any kind of part-time or flexible roles that I could work around my young family. And I started looking further afield. I was looking for full-time roles, but then nothing was coming back that paid for childcare. And I was feeling really quite frustrated at the whole situation. And one afternoon, in a small village playground in rural Oxfordshire, pushing children on swings, I looked around and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not alone. There's I don't know, an accountant, there's a lawyer, there's an HR director, there's a PR professional, there's someone who used to work for a big bank in London, really talented and experienced individuals who all really wanted to get back to the workplace and contribute to our workforce and here in the Thames Valley. I mean, it's booming Thames Valley, commutable to London. I thought there are bound to be organisations out there who are struggling to find the talent they need to grow and thrive. And here we are with this amazing pool of relatively untapped talent. So I thought I'm going to set up a recruitment agency. And that's what I did. And that is how 9 to 3 Jobs was born back in 2015.
oh wow, that's quite a story.
Well, I think so. Being a journalist, you have to be quite good at talking, broadcast journalist. And I guess selling stories to your editor or persuading people to let you interview them. And then I think, well, you have to sometimes have quite difficult conversations. So when I set up a recruitment agency, I realised that there are so many transferable skills there, persuading people to work with you or just lots of talking, really, Felix. I think recruiters are all quite good at talking. And so that is really how it went, and it's really made me think, and it's something that everyone in the team really also very much believes in, and that is transferable skills. So I
Yeah.
appreciate you've got a fantastic AI business, and a lot of organisations rely on AI for some of their screening, and I think you probably agree with me here, the importance of humans actually in the process, because we're really passionate about those transferable skills, and sometimes you can really bring a new vision to a role or to a business if you do come with some slightly different skills. So it's worked brilliantly, Felix, for me.
Perfect. Yeah, sounds very good. So tell me, did your first placement actually was one of the people from the playground? So was that one of
Good
the first placements or?
question. Oh my gosh. I've spoken about this so many times. I've done so many chats like this, and no one's
Really?
asked me that question. Was it? No. No,
That
it
that would be
wasn't,
good
Felix.
good end of the story, to be honest.
It wasn't, but do you know what I found? So I I started the business, and I had to I just picked up the phone, spoke to loads of businesses, and at the time, so sort of 2015, 2016, not a lot of people were talking about flexible working. Some people didn't really
Yeah.
even know what flexible working was. So at 9 to 3 Jobs, we are passionate about the benefits of flexible working for everyone. So 9 to 3 school hours, part-time, remote, hybrid, all these different permutations of flexible working. And what we've found is, through looking at lots of research, that companies that hire flexibly actually are more productive. Their team has fewer sick days. It's easier to recruit and then retain talent, and quite often that's related to profits. Profits go up, so it really is a win-win. And so, it's something I remain very passionate about. Going back to your question about playground hires, though, Felix, the first placement I made wasn't in the playground, but I did end up hiring someone from my own team from the playground.
Oh, wow.
And she's been brilliant. She's a super duper lawyer. So we've got legal advice for lots of different things, and we're a very small business, but she's absolutely amazing. And I always say that to businesses. I say, you should hire what you need for your business. If you don't need a lawyer to work 40 hours a week, you can hire someone to work 5 hours a week. They do exist,
Yeah.
And it makes real economic sense. Felix, you're going to regret asking me to talk, because I can literally talk about flexible working all day.
But that's good. That's good. I really like when someone's so passionate about it. So that's, I think, why you have been going for 10 years. So then tell me, so after you get your first hirings, I guess, and you did a lot of cold calling, I guess, and a lot of phoning, a lot of emailing. So did you also grew the team and then had like people doing more of that phoning for you, so business development wise? Or how did that work before and today?
Yeah, I think that's another very good question. So what happened then, I think other recruiters could possibly relate to this. You can be in a position where you've done some cold calls, you've got the business coming in, and then you get the word of mouth referrals, and then you get the repeat business, and then you could be in a situation where you're drowning in work. And there's only so much one recruiter can do. So then I expanded the team, slowly expanded at first, then we grew, got an office, had people up in Manchester in the north of England, had a team of 14, and then the pandemic came and the shutters came down. But before that happened, 2 of that team were dedicated solely to business development. So lots of different ways we would do that. Some of it would be cold calling. I say cold calling, I'd say soft calling, more word of mouth following up and in-person networking and then following up. They had jobs that we felt we could work on and following up. That kind of thing, I suppose.
Okay.
But it was interesting because then most of the rest of the team was solely recruiting and not doing business development.
Okay. And then after the pandemic?
So we had to shrink the team, sadly. But then, the silver lining is, I suppose, I'd learned quite a lot about growing a business in those years, and then had to make the difficult decisions. But then slowly the time came to grow again. And actually, the market's kind of come to us to some extent, because whereas before no one was really talking about hybrid or remote working, now the language of work has changed. People are looking for hybrid roles, and that's not just mums wanting to work around school pickups. It's actually everyone is really interested in this way of working. I looked at a company recently referred to us through boilr, Felix, and one of their perks, I loved one of their perks. It was like you can work from anywhere in the world for 1 week a year. So that's on top of your holiday allowance. You can I thought that was a really interesting concept, really. It just makes us think that the world is a smaller place. It's not like we're all working in factories now where we have to clock in and clock out. We've got absolutely the technology to enable us to work in lots of different ways. And so I'm excited about the changes in our workforces. I'm a bit scared too, but it feels like we're living through a real industrial revolution at the moment.
Yeah, it's a bit like more work-life balance that's important. So
Yeah.
I get that people enjoy that more. Um, okay, so you had to shrink, just to come back to that, but it's
Yeah.
pretty interesting. You had to shrink your team, as many companies did. So yeah, what I hear a lot when I talk to recruiters, I just want to see if it's the same for you. Like before COVID, the market was pretty predictable. As you said, a lot of word to mouth, a lot of inbounds, business coming to you. You grew the business to 14 people. Then in 2020 with COVID, we had to everyone had to shrink their business because it was just like hitting the economy. Then there was a boom, as I understand, after COVID. Like 1 year after was really a boom because people were hiring again. So how did like the inbounds and how you did business development, or more like how you had to do business development, came after COVID? Like, did you saw the need that the 360 recruiter really also had to go out and speak to people instead of just coming in? How was that change coming in? It's just interesting for me to know.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. So I think I said to a small business owner a little while ago, I said, "Gosh, we're chatting about things," and I just said it's just a roller coaster. The economy just feels like it's like this.
Yeah.
And she said, "Well, it's the new norm. This is how it is now. It's just ups and downs, and you have to ride them out and go like a roller coaster." And And another thing that I've really noticed is, we had a number of clients pre-pandemic, and then the pandemic came, and it feels like you kind of lost touch with people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know that sounds a bit strange, and maybe not everyone else was as bad as me as me at this, but now it feels like it's all about reconnecting, because I guess a lot of companies had to downsize. And so the contacts you had there, maybe they'd left, and then they're rebuilding and restructuring. And so it almost feels like regrowing those ties a little bit. And I think in particular in the UK in the last year, it's been particularly difficult. We had a budget last year, November 2024, which had an impact on our national insurance, which meant it was more expensive to employ people. And then I think the whole world always has half an eye on what Donald Trump is doing in regards to tariffs and so on. And then another area, I think jobs are changing, and also perhaps in some areas they're being lost through AI as well. So there's been an awful lot kind of going on in the economy in the last 12 months, I would say. So yeah, things have changed a lot, and I think when we've had downtimes, it's hard to sometimes, I guess, you've got to be quite resilient and quite upbeat to get out there and keep going with business development.
Yeah, absolutely.
Heavy sigh from Felix. Yeah, I know that. He says like...
No, the thing is, a lot of people then have to do like the cold calling, which is not very, not everyone likes to do it so much. The emailing, going out to people, telling it is there. But I mean, exactly what you just explains how the market is, which is it's very interesting actually, because you have a lot of recruitment agencies still that survived like the pandemic, which is good. But also with the whole AI change, with things like you mentioned, with the pensions getting higher. So basically, then you have less talent, less openings. And with less openings and the same amount of recruitment agencies, you really have to fight for the openings to get as many in as possible. So yeah, I think that's the state I see a lot of companies at the moment.
It's hard, yeah, and I think that's why. So as I think most people we all get cold emails and cold calls all the time. And I get a lot from companies who are kind of automating everything, and you don't need to hire recruiters, we can do it all, or making promises about lists of qualified leads and making it sound easy. Now I know it's not easy. I know it's not easy. And so it was your colleague Jacob who called, and I'm always very polite because I know how hard it is to do all this business development, but I normally give people like 20 or 30 seconds, and then I say, do you know what, but no thank you. Jacob got in there, and I thought, well, do you know what, we'll try out boilr, and The great thing about boilr is it is an automated system. You do use AI to provide leads, but actually you don't take the human side away from recruitment. And we feel really strongly about that because, companies hire people buy from people, and, I think it's really important to have a human look at a CV, talk to a candidate, and really get underneath the skin of that candidate and make sure they're a great fit for the client. Yeah. So although I think you've said the technology's there, obviously, the emails we would send as a result of the lists that we get through boilr, they've been written by humans, and we have looked at the company and we have thought, do you know what, we believe there's a really good fit here.
Absolutely, and that's the point with the human touch, because that's the only thing that shouldn't be lost, especially in recruitment. So as you saw, like we looked at what you were looking for in the market. I mean, before, how did you do it? You went through LinkedIn Indeed manually, and then you looked who's hiring, right? So how many hours did they took us per day? What would you say?
Well, no, but also exactly, Felix, I would say you can go to the point where there wasn't. And again, this is probably my fault, and other agencies would be better, but we didn't have a very good structure at doing that. Mm-hmm. And, if someone happened to have some downtime, they'd do a little bit of biz dev, but there wasn't the structure of definitely going back to always follow up. Well, maybe that's just me. Maybe the rest of the team are actually, I think they probably are. But now everyone loves the fact that we've just got this easy to use list, and you can go through, you can say, actually, no, that's no good. Oh, that's interesting. Or, and it's a very simple, easy to use platform, and you and your colleagues are always very responsive if we've got any questions, and you've given us some really great tips about how to best follow up, with any kind of approach that we make. And so we feel that it's a really great list. Not everything's perfect on there, Felix, but that's fine. It never
Nothing
is.
is perfect.
But it's really great, and then you've helped us with the follow up. So it feels like a very supportive and easy to use platform.
I mean, I'm totally honest with you, Helen. You have also to congratulate yourself, because we thought you had no real business development. Then we met. We gave you the leads through our AI system, from everywhere around the whole internet. And then we give you a bit of training, and you actually close your first, or you have your first lead
got our
from
first
the client.
Through boilr. We have.
So I'm really saying this is more also to you, that it's great that you got there, because you actually just have 1 hour of a bit of business development tips from our colleague. So from no business development to the first placement within the first month.
Not quite placement, Felix. We've got the client, we've got terms signed, and we've got the job. Yeah.
But I'm pretty confident.
Give us another
that
few
you are
weeks.
good.
We'll get that one over the line. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, but also congratulations to you that you actually got it until there.
Thank you.
But
also, I have to say, we've had no's from people as well, which I know sounds negative, but it's often not at the moment. But thank you. And I think if someone bothers to reply, then that's a real. We get people who are into sales and business development. That's still a win for me. A small win.
100%. I mean, once you got in touch with them, also if they say no, they know about you. So there's getting your name out there. If in bad times they remember, oh, Helen, she called me. I could go back there.
I think so, and I think because we specialise in part-time roles, there aren't that many agencies that do that, and we prorate our fees along with prorating the salary, so we actually offer really good value for money too. And so an application like boilr is great because you can just feed us part-time roles to follow up, and then hopefully we actually add genuine value to those businesses we approach.
Yeah, and you don't have to employ 2 business developers, right?
Quite, as I said, Felix.
Because
boilr.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's just interesting to see, because first you employ your business developers, you try to get them out, but the real value is if your recruiters are doing the business development in the short time they have in the morning, for example. So basically everyone keeps their own pipeline. So basically every recruiter knows about their pipeline, they build the pipeline, they get the deals closed, in addition to the word of mouth they actually get. So that's really the goal, what we are looking at. So, and I think you really filled that up quite nicely.
It's great. And also, as I said, I get emails from people saying, oh, have an AI recruiter. We don't want AI recruiters. So
No.
although we don't have the 2 business developers, I'd rather employ them to be recruiters with a little bit of biz dev. So
Correct.
It's not about losing the humans, as it were, but it's just about employing the best use of the amazing technology we've got and using it wisely.
Absolutely. And getting more business in, right? So basically you can build up the 14 people stuff again. Is that a goal that you have actually?
Well, do you know, Felix, probably much like you, when I started this business, I wanted to take over the world. And now I am slightly jaded and tired through having to run a business through the pandemic and through the various ups and downs of the economy. But I would love to expand the team. I would love it. But maybe we'll stick to the UK for now.
Oh, maybe I can give you some leads in Germany.
Oh, thank you. Thank you,
I
Felix.
mean, why not? Good.